What are we doing? What's the name of it?
Breakfast casserole and cheddar scones.
Do you have to have that bowl right there? That bowl right there. Ground turkey? So which one you starting on first?
The breakfast casserole.
Oh, not the scones?
No, because you have to bake the potatoes for 20 minutes first.
Okay, all right.
Then you gotta cook the meat.
Trying to see if I can go on YouTube here. Am I on live on? I think I'm on live on Facebook, but not on YouTube. I might have to shut this down and bring it back up.
I can look on my phone. I can check on TikTok.
Well, no, I need to. Come on, YouTube. Not TikTok. I'm gonna have to come back out.
You want me to check YouTube?
Yeah, check. You can check YouTube. Come on, Facebook. Why are you doing this?
It's live.
On YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It doesn't show on here. All right, but you see it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you check Facebook? Okay, it's finally coming through Facebook. So I need to get Instagram in there, but I'm gonna have to go get that mic stand. I don't know why, but
Facebook is live.
okay, good. So there's something going on with the internet, I guess. All right, so
Live on TikTok.
okay, I want to get Instagram, but I gotta go out there. So do me a favor, can you hold this for me and talk to the people? Talk to the people.
Good morning. We're just about ready to start. We'll let people get a chance to get on in the room.
Not only that, but we also have to load one more guy. Whoa. Okay, what's the orientation like on Facebook?
The same like the last time. You can't see it there, but it looks like with the little box on the side like last time.
But is it sideways?
It's straight up and down.
But it's not like the last time we did it? It's like the last time you're saying? Okay. All right, so do me a favor, one more favor. Talk to the people. Let them know we'll be starting our live very, very soon.
Good morning. So we're going to be starting very soon. Happy Saturday. We're going to give people time to come in the room. I have some of the ingredients on the table right now for the breakfast casserole. And then I have a lot of different things. So I have some bowls in the back, some up here, but we're going to show you everything. So don't worry, you will see it all. But we're starting here. Our breakfast casserole. And then we're going to make some cheddar cheese scones. I showed a couple pictures yesterday online, like a before the oven and after. So we're actually going to make some today. I have some already made just in case time runs short. You know, I have a casserole made too. So I'm always going to have everything prepared. So we have a nice seamless live. So it takes a little to get things going with these lives. Hello, TikTok. Good morning. I see everybody is starting to join the room. You all can see the cutting board, and then I'll move things closer to the screen for you to be able to see everything else, too. I see Miss T, Murfett, Linda, Gerald, Kelly, Mama PJ, Julia, all kinds of people. Thank y'all so much. Come on in the room. We'll be starting very soon. We're going to make a breakfast casserole and some cheddar scones. We got some good stuff ready for you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're still working on our technical thing, so it's getting a little bit better. It's getting there, a little bit at a time. Good morning, Lupe, Betty, Wilma, Brenda Mack. Good morning. Arsema, Lakendra, good morning. Good morning, Lola, Samantha, good morning. Gigi, Susie, good morning. I can't see the names of the people on Facebook and YouTube, but good morning to all of you all. And once we get it where we need it to be,
which will be soon,
I'll be able to see your names and your comments.
Meaning the Facebook guys.
On Facebook and YouTube, right?
And YouTube.
Yeah. Good morning.
If we had somebody on the computer, we can see that.
Mm-hmm. Good morning. Almost ready. He's setting up one more stand for Instagram, and then we're going to jump right into it, get this thing going, and we'll be good to go. I think y'all going to enjoy these recipes. They're really good. They're really, really, really good. I don't know what all the notifications on TikTok mean. I see something about the universe and something else, so I'm going to learn all that stuff too. Your camera is so much more clear, Lord. Almost there.
Let me see if
Almost
I can see
there.
anything.
So far you all see potatoes. I don't want to go over the ingredients yet until we actually start because I don't want anybody to miss anything. But this is at least giving people time to come into the room, so that's a great thing. I love that. Hopefully we'll be ready to go in a couple minutes. I do have my oven preheating to 375 too, so hopefully you all make this recipe. It's very simple. Generally, I'll talk a little bit about, we use like the shredded hash browns, but I like to use sliced potatoes in my casserole. So it's a little bit different, but we'll talk about that too.
I have 3 people on Facebook, but I can't read their comments or anything.
Good morning. Good morning, Jules. Brenda, Brown Sugar, Linda's, Love Jesus, Anita Jaram. This is on TikTok.
Your TikTok.
Yep, Kelly. Trying to read it. Gastron Girl, April Smith, Angela. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Just about ready.
Couple more minutes.
I want to get going. And we're going to get it done by 11 o'clock, so I'm going to be moving to get it all together.
Where's my Instagram?
Good morning. For those just coming on TikTok, we're going to be making a breakfast casserole and cheddar cheese scones. So that's what we're working on today. I see we got a follow. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And they just need to hang in there with us for a little bit longer, and we're gonna be like on it.
I see on TikTok we have 100-something people in the room. Well, we had 128, but a few have dropped off, down to 88, but they'll come back on.
They probably not in the room, but they probably are.
They're just waiting on us.
Okay, let me see if I can go live now. Hold on 1 second.
He's almost done, guys. He's coming. Good morning, Stephanie, Memphis, Perot, Low, TC. Said got the #1 gifter badge. I'm not sure what that means, but I think it's a good thing. Thank you. T, good morning. Nisi, good morning.
We're almost there, guys. I think this is the angle we want right here. Okay. Okay, now Lynette, go in front for me.
All right.
We're about to get started, guys. I gotta make sure I can get you your whole body in the Yeah, okay. All right, so I think I can go. All right, guys, 3, 2, 1. We're about to start. Thank y'all.
Good morning.
Thank you all for hanging in there with us. We're now live. We're live on Instagram, Lynette's Catering. Mm-hmm. We're live on TikTok, Lynette's Cakes and Catering. Mm-hmm. We're live on YouTube,
Lynette's Kitchen.
And we're live on Facebook.
Yep.
Lynette's Cakes and Catering.
Yep. So you ready to go?
We're ready to go.
All right, so we're going to jump into a TikTok. You can see my hands. You can't see my face, but you know I'm here. So we're going to be making a breakfast casserole today, and we're going to make cheddar cheese scones. So we're going to jump right into it. My name is Lynette. I own Lynette's Cakes and Catering. We're in the Washington, D.C. area. We do catering, lunch pop-ups, classes, all kinds of demos online, and have a lot of fun doing it. So we're going to jump right in. So the first thing we're going to start with for our breakfast casserole, I'm going to use regular russet potatoes. If you want to use shredded hash browns, you can definitely do that, like the frozen ones. I just like to use the fresh potatoes, so it's totally up to you. Let me grab my casserole dish, which is right here. This one's a little bit smaller. Like you can do an 11 by 13 or 9 by 13. You would just have to add more eggs to it. But I'm going to do this smaller one, and I have one that I actually already made, so you'll be able to see the finished product. So the first thing I'm going to do with my casserole dish, I'm going to put just a little bit of oil in the bottom of the dish. You can also use cooking spray if you want to use a nonstick cooking spray. I wouldn't use butter because butter would just burn as your potatoes are cooking. So just a couple tablespoons of oil, and let me show Instagram. It's a little bit. And then I usually just take a paper towel and just wipe it around so that I get the sides and the bottom of the casserole dish. So it's real simple, just like you would do anything else that you're greasing. You just want to wipe the bottoms, get those corners. And that's just to make sure when you slice it, those eggs don't stick to the bottom and the sides of your pan. All right, so that's that. I'm going to push that to the side. And we're going to slice our potatoes. So let me get a glove. And we're going to be good to go. Now, what you want to do, I always start with the potatoes first because they have to go in the oven for about 20 minutes first because you need them to cook a little bit before you add the eggs and stuff on top because it won't be in there long enough at that point for the potatoes to cook. And you don't want your potatoes to be crunchy in the bottom of your casserole. All right, so I usually just need one potato, but I have two just in case, and they've already been washed. So you just want to start to slice your potatoes. And I like a nice thickness, so you can see that's a pretty nice thickness for the potatoes. If you see any little dark spots, you can always just cut those off. Like right here, I'm just going to cut that off. All right, let's slice the rest. That's why I always have a second potato, just in case. Potatoes, sometimes you cut into them and you don't know if you're going to have a little dark spot or what. So, and you want to make sure you can cover the entire base of your baking dish. All right, so let's bring our dish back. Hopefully you all can see it over there. So what we're going to do is just start to line the bottom of the dish with those potatoes. Really simple. There's another dish that I make that's for dinner, but you would use like a seasoned ground beef, and the potatoes are on the bottom like this, and then you top it with cheese. It's really, really good. So if you see those pieces, just cut them off. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you. This is why I always have another potato just in case. I'm going to cut some of that one too. So if you have little spaces in the center, I usually just cut little pieces of potato and fill those little gaps in, because when the potatoes cook, they will shrink down a little bit. So let's cut a couple little pieces, little small pieces, and I'll just fill in.
If you can move the bowl back a little bit, because it's halfway showing on here.
All right. I can get rid of this.
Also, when you get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Plug the computer.
Okay.
For me.
Okay. So, okay, so yeah, you're gonna put little pieces like kind of in the center, like that, okay? Now, like I said, you can make a larger pan of this if you have more people coming. I'm going to use 8 eggs in mine. If you have more people coming, you would do 12 eggs in a longer pan, like a regular size casserole dish. Because I was making a simple one, and it's only just me and Gregory and whoever I share with, I just make a smaller one. All right, so that looks good. I'm going to take a little bit of oil and just drizzle it on top, just a little bit, just so that the potatoes don't get too dry. pour it right in the cap, makes it easier. And just a small drizzle. You don't want it to be greasy. That looks good. And then just a little bit of salt and pepper on top. Not too much. Okay. And pepper. Now, if you don't want to do salt and pepper, you don't have to because the sausage has flavor, but you just want to make sure you kind of build your flavor. So I would, but it's totally up to you. If you're doing low salt and you want to eliminate that step, you can, or maybe do something like a Mrs. Dash, something like a salt-free seasoning, something to give the potatoes flavor so you don't just have a bland potato, all right, on the bottom of your dish. So this is going to go in the 375-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, and then we're going to proceed with the next. But while it's in the oven, we're going to cook our meat. I'm going to talk about the meat too. Let me get this in the oven. Make sure everybody can see. Got it? This is going right in the oven.
Shout out to my Facebook family. Shout out to my Instagram family. Shout out to my YouTube family and my TikTok family. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Today. All
right, so what I have here, I have some, and I'm going to get this pan heated up. I have some ground turkey sausage. Now, I made this sausage yesterday myself. If anybody was on last weekend's live, no, not last weekend, 2 weekends ago, we made blueberry stuffed French toast and turkey sausage. It's the same recipe for the turkey sausage. So I just have my ground turkey. I have some marjoram. I have ground sage, black pepper. I have salt. I added a little bit of fennel because fennel really heightens that sausage flavor to the mix. Very simple. You can always buy sausage already made. You can use pork sausage, which is more traditional, but I tend to mostly eat ground turkey. So whenever I can, I'm going to make the sausage myself. All right, so if you want to make it yourself, we did do a live on that. What about 2 weeks ago? We did that blueberry stuffed French toast, and the turkey sausage is delicious. Totally delicious. Okay, so like I said, it's just ground turkey, sage, salt, black pepper, marjoram. I put a little bit of fennel seed in there. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I may not be. And a little bit of oil or a little bit of chicken broth just to keep it nice and juicy. And I just left it like this. You can form it into patties if you like, or you can form it into some lengths if you like. If you want to make patties and put them in your freezer. For this, because we're using it on the casserole, we're just going to cook it like you would ground beef. So totally simple to make your own turkey sausage. I advise it whenever possible. So we're going to go over to the stove. We're going to cook our turkey sausage. But let me first talk about the rest of the ingredients before we do that. I also have a medium onion and about a half of a large red bell pepper that I diced. And we're going to cook that along with our turkey sausage. All right, so that's going to go into our mix. I also have some cheddar cheese. I have some milk. I have salt and pepper. And of course, you can't have breakfast without your eggs. Let me bring my eggs over, which are right here. And all of this is going to be assembled together, but I'm just showing you what we have. So our eggs, our milk, our peppers and onions, our cheese, and a little bit of salt and pepper when we make the custard, which is going to be the eggs and the milk. All right, so let's go over to the stove. I will bring TikTok over there.
Excuse me.
And then we'll start to cook our sausage. I keep wanting to say any questions, but I realized I can't really see the questions. So I can go back later and try to answer any questions. So let's go over to the stove. I'll bring TikTok over.
Okay. Here's the problem. Instagram.
Okay.
Okay, let me see here. Okay, let's go this way with Instagram. Instagram, sorry, you're being carried. You're being carried over. I think if I can just put him down. There we go. My eyes.
All right, so we're going over to the stove. Let me get right here real quick. Make sure I got you all positioned correctly. Can I step in front of it real quick? Just to make sure.
Yeah. Sorry about this, guys. We getting our system together. We're gonna have it together. I promise.
Yeah. All right. So our pan is heating up. It's getting there. It's getting there. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil in the pan for our ground turkey. Like I said, if you want to use ground pork, you can definitely do that. It's totally up to you. I just made my own turkey sausage. All right, so let's get this pan heated up. I had the back burner on and not the front one, so I got to give it about a minute to heat up. Can you see any questions on Instagram?
Well, I see that Lavish Lakes joined, but
Hello.
not too many people. I don't think there are many people on Instagram.
All right. All right, so let's get this heated up. I'm going to grab my peppers and onions because they're going to go in here with our ground turkey. And let's see. I want to hear it sizzle. Y'all know I'm trying to wait for it to get hot enough so it sizzles. But I'm going to have to go in and add it in there. All right, so this is about a pound, maybe a pound and a half. All right, because I had one big pack and I just divided it into two. So let's go ahead and add this to our pan. Not much sizzle yet, but it's going to get there. And once it starts to cook, I'm going to add in the peppers and onions. But I just allow them to kind of cook together because I want that flavor. And I also want the peppers and onions to soften enough while they're cooking. So let's cut up some more. It'll start to sizzle. It's so crazy when I can't see y'all questions because I know people want to say little things. But I know you can't see it. All right, come on, Pan.
Well, when we get our system in the next couple of read the comments off the computer for all platforms. At least I'm hoping so.
Yep. All right, so for the sausage, if I can remember, I don't want to give you the wrong measurement, but I use about a teaspoon of salt per pound of ground turkey. And then for the sage, it's about 1 1/4 teaspoon of ground sage. I use about a half a teaspoon of black pepper, a pinch of cayenne if you wanted to have a little bit of a kick at the end. It's not going to be super spicy, but a little bit of a kick. Only use a small pinch of the fennel seeds, maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon of fennel seeds in the mixture, and about a tablespoon of vegetable oil. So that was and then marjoram, about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of marjoram. marjoram, marjoram. It looks kind of like dry parsley. You add that to it too. And just mix it together. If you wanted a sweet sausage, you can do a little bit of maple syrup, about a tablespoon of maple syrup in your mixture. Just kind of play around. Don't play around too much, but some people add like thyme, they add rosemary. I keep it basic and it comes out really good. So when that's the case, I don't try to do too much. You can smell it already. It already smells like sausage. Smells delicious. I'm going to add up the flavor of that sausage too. Now you don't have to add any salt and pepper because the sausage has enough flavor on its own. So you don't have to add any salt and pepper at this stage. Alright, so let's let it cook. Like I said, if you wanted to do a bigger pan, you could. Maybe just do 2 pounds of meat so that you can have enough to stretch. You want a nice layer of that sausage, so don't skimp on it. Ooh, it smells so good. Y'all know when stuff hits the pan and starts to cook, everything just starts to immediately smell delicious, so I'm loving it. See how my potatoes are looking? They're good, man. You can also do this with bacon, but you would need a lot of bacon. You know what I mean? Maybe a couple pounds. So you can crumble your bacon on a little bit. You put this bowl in the sink. Now the idea is to have everything come together at the same time. So you want your potatoes to be ready when your meat is ready. So we got about another 15 minutes on the potatoes. I may pull them out a little bit early and just go ahead and add the stuff to them so you can see everything together. And I do have one that's already ready, like I said.
You got time.
You think so?
It's only 19.
Okay. Now what I could do too is go ahead and assemble the scones.
Yeah.
While we're waiting on the potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right, it's almost there. Yesterday when I made the sample one, I had a plate of just sausage. It was so good. I had like a little bit on the plate. It was so good. So good. And you know, your turkey is not going to have a lot of oil or grease or fat in it. So as it's cooking, you can see it's more just a little bit of liquid in the bottom. But you know, this is more of the little bit of oil I added, and some of the juice is just coming out of the meat. But if you're doing pork, you definitely want to make sure you drain that fat. All right, we're almost there. Almost there. We're getting there. Let it cook a little bit. I always like stir, stop a little bit, let it cook, then go back to it. I've even added mushrooms to this. I love mushrooms, so I've even added mushrooms to this. I've added some baby spinach. Mixture if you want to get some extra veggies in there. So you can definitely do that. You can sneak them in there. If you got some people that don't want to eat extra veggies, just sneak them in there. It'll still taste good. A little broccoli florets, it won't matter. It's still delicious. If you've ever had a veggie quiche, you know what I mean. All right, so we're almost there. Got a little bit on my. Let me get something to scrape that off. All right. I'm gonna scrape off this extra sauce and that's on my thing. I may switch out for this one. All right. Oh, this is good. Can you smell it? Smells good. All right. So this is looking like it's ready. Nice and cooked. If you wanted to drain that juice or liquid out the bottom, you can do that and kind of brown it up some more. But it's not necessary. It's going to go right back in the oven. But some people just like a little more brown color on it. It's totally up to you. But this is our sausage. I'm going to cut it off and let it hang out. I am going to go ahead and mix up the custard so y'all can see how that all comes together.
Shout out to my Facebook family, my YouTube family.
Hello, happy Saturday.
My TikTok family, and my Instagram family.
Yeah, everybody's here. All right, so this looks good. Let's cut this off.
Sorry we're not able to read the comments. We still need another week or two for that.
But here's our turkey sausage mixture. The turkey sausage, peppers, onions, just cooked in a little bit of oil. Remember, the turkey sausage is already seasoned, and if you buy sausage at the store, it'll be seasoned too. So you don't have to add any salt and pepper at this stage. All right? All right, so that's good. Let me bring y'all back over to the table. And we're going to keep it moving. All right, let's go over here. There we go. Back at the table. All right, so here are the other ingredients. So what I'm going to do, I may be able to pull it out because it has to go back in for 35 minutes anyway. It'll give it more time to cook. So we have 8 eggs. Remember, if you're going to use a larger baking dish, I would go with 12 eggs. But we have 8 eggs right here. And I'm going to add in 3/4 cup of milk. But let me whisk up the eggs first, just to get them broken up. And then we're going to add in our milk and then a little bit of salt and pepper. All right, so whip these up. Let's add in our 3/4 cup of milk. It's going to be our custard. A little bit of salt. Not too much.
For those that just joining, can you please tell them what we're making on that?
Yeah, and a little bit of black pepper, or as much as you like. I like pepper, but everybody doesn't like things spicy. So we're making a breakfast casserole. So right here is just the custard part. So this is our eggs and our milk, our salt and pepper. So 8 eggs, 3/4 cup of milk, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. If you're making the larger pan, I think it's a 13 by 9, you can do 12 eggs and 1 cup of milk. All right, or you can even double that if you have more people coming over and make a couple of them. You use 2 pounds of meat. I'm using 1.5 pounds, and then I have about 2 cups of cheese. 2 cups. All right, so let me check the potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and pull them out because the casserole has to bake for 35 more minutes anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it out the oven.
The plug is right there.
Okay.
And the wall outlet's right there.
All right.
All right, Lynette's going to be with us in 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. All right, she's coming. All right, great. Good job.
All right, so let me grab the casserole dish out of the oven. It has the potatoes for anybody just joining. So we sliced some regular russet potatoes. We put a little bit of oil in our baking dish and seasoned them with salt and pepper. So I'm gonna pull them out now, but like I said, it will usually be about 25 to 30 minutes in the oven. And they will be cooked a little bit more than this, but we're gonna go with it because they're gonna go back in the oven anyway. And it's just for me, so it's okay. All right, so what you would generally do, I usually take a toothpick or a knife and just poke the potatoes. And when they're soft, they'll be a little bit crisp on the top and soft. You know they're cooked long enough. Okay, so that's about 30 minutes. 25 to 30 minutes here. All right, so here is the sausage that we just cooked. So all you're going to do is very simple. You're going to take your sausage and we're just going to scoop it right on top of our potatoes. Now, if you want to use hash browns, you can definitely do that, those frozen ones. But I love it with the sliced potatoes. It gives it a nice base. And those are frozen, so you have to make sure they're thawed first or buy the ones that are already thawed out and then add them to the bottom of your pan. So let's add this sausage right on top. This is good for brunch, breakfast, whatever. You have people coming over and you want to do a meal that'll kind of stretch a little bit, especially with the price of eggs now. This is so that you don't have to make scrambled eggs. You can just do a casserole and the eggs are already in the dish and people can just, you know, get their eggs that way. All right, and I think this pan will probably feed about 6 to 8 people with a couple things on the side.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you make the larger one, you can get 12 slices out of it. All right, so a little bit more. You can see this is a nice layer of sausage. So if you wanted to do less, 1 pound also works, but you know, I like a nice layer. All right, so here we go. A little bit more left. Just fill in any corners that may need a little bit more. Get all those peppers and onions out of there. Remember, if you want to add mushrooms or another veggie, you can definitely do that. Let me put this pan back. There we go. And just make sure it's as even as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't stress yourself. All right, there's our sausage. And then what I'm going to do is put some of this shredded cheese right on top. So you're going to put the cheese. I'm just going to use half of it because what I generally do, I bake the casserole for about 30 minutes. And then once the eggs are set, I take it out, put more cheese on top, and give it about another 5 or 6 minutes in the oven so the extra cheese on top can melt. All right, so he's going to put this layer here, then another layer if you want. All right, so let's take our egg mixture. This is our eggs, milk, salt, and pepper. And I'm just going to pour this right over top of the cheese. Try to make it as even as possible. You just want to make sure every piece has some of this egg mixture. There we go. If y'all could smell how good it smells in here. This thing smells delicious already. Then I'm just going to take my spoon and just press down. And sometimes I'll just kind of move this over a little bit to let those eggs seep down in between those potatoes. But it will get down in there. Make sure everything gets down in there. Okay? Just press it down as best you can. And when it bakes, it'll bake enough where I can show you. You may not even have to add any extra cheese to the top. It just depends on how much cheese you want to add to yours. Because once it bakes, this right here will brown in and of itself. Okay? All right, so now we're good. This goes back in the oven, like I said, for about 30 minutes. And we're going to make our cheddar cheese scones. It's a lot of cheese today. So hopefully everybody saw it before it goes in. It's our casserole. Make sure you all can see it too. It's going right back in the oven. Put it right here.
On TikTok, it's Lynette's Cakes and Catering. Mm-hmm. On Facebook, it's Lynette's Cakes and Catering. On YouTube, it's Lynette's Kitchen. And on Instagram, it's Lynette's Catering. Yep, those are the platforms we're on live for now.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to fix this oven.
Okay. We're in a studio kitchen, so Lynette doesn't know anything about this oven. She's trying to figure it out.
Okay, there we go.
As you can tell.
We're going to pray. All right, so let me wipe the table down, rinse my hand off, and we're gonna make the cheddar cheese scones, all right? So let's wipe this table down, get ourselves a space for our baking, and we're gonna move on. And pray that I got the oven set right. I think I do though. I think I do. Oh goodness, one day I'm gonna get it right. All right, rinse my hands off. Now, time to bake. Time to bake. Now the scones are supposed to bake on 400. I was thinking about increasing to 400. We'll go with 375. I don't want the casserole to burn. So we're gonna go with it. All right, so this is just my extra flour. So I may move this over for now. We don't need it at this second. So we have our ingredients for our scones. All right. Seems like a lot, but I'm gonna walk y'all through it, okay? So let's start with this first. So I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna use this to grate the butter into the flour mixture. So we'll come back to our grater. So first things first, we have our flour in the bowl. It's about 2 1/4 cups of flour in the bowl. We're gonna add to this 4 teaspoons of baking powder. All right, that's going in the bowl. Next, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt. That's next. So there. And then we're just going to add in 1 tablespoon of sugar. It's not going to make it super sweet. It's just going to balance everything. All right? So that goes in the bowl first. So I'm going to get my glove. And we're just going to mix those together first before we grate our butter in. So remember, 2 1/4 cups of flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Just mix all of this together. No, that's for the eggs and the milk. All right, so this is coming together. It's real simple. So then I have 1 stick of cold unsalted butter. You want to make sure your butter is nice and cold. All right, so 1 stick of cold unsalted butter. Now you can cut this into cubes if you like. I just find that it's a lot easier to mix in when I grate it, so I use my box grater. So we're going to use this end of the box grater. And what I usually do is just hang it over the side of the bowl. It makes it easier for me to handle it. If I put it in the bowl, it just seems like it moves too much. So I just hold it down, hold the bowl, and you just want to grate. This butter's getting a little bit soft. It's been sitting out. All right.
Yeah, it should be much colder.
Yeah, it should be colder than this, but you know, we're here, so it's a little, it's been sitting off about an hour or two. All right, so get any extra that may be on the inside. We got. And then what I'm gonna do is just take this grated butter and just start to work it right into my flour mixture. And you can use a fork if you think that's easier. You can use a pastry blender to mix it in, which is a tool that has a little hooked shape, and you just use it to cut your butter into your flour mixture. Or you can use a food processor if that's easier for you too. So we're just going to work it in until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs. And you may have a few chunks of butter left, and that's perfectly okay. Don't feel like you have to break every chunk of butter down. You want some of those chunks. And you want to work kind of fast because, your hands are warm and you don't want to warm up your butter too much. It's pretty much like making a biscuit. It's a similar process. Same thing. All right, so we're almost there. And I'm going to show you the texture on my glove, what it looks like when I think it's done. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and you'll really start to know what things look like, what they feel like, what they smell like when they are correct. So just keep on doing it. When it comes out right, stick with that process. All right, so we're looking good. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you what it looks like. See how you can see some of those kind of chunks of butter in a way you can see it? Hopefully you all can. It's a coarse mixture. So to this, I'm going to add in 1.5 cup of sharp cheddar cheese. So add that right to your bowl. And mix that in too. You definitely want to do this early on because once you add the liquid to your dry ingredients and start to mix it, the gluten starts to develop and you'll have a tough mixture if you overmix. So you want to add your cheese early on. All right, so I have 2 eggs in my bowl. And I have 1 cup of cold buttermilk. I'm going to add that to the eggs. 3/4 of a cup, I'm sorry, of cold buttermilk. And you're just going to mix the 2 together. Right, so hopefully you all can see. And once it's mixed, we're going to add this to our dry ingredients. And move it up, everybody can see it, and I'll move the other stuff out the way. That's not too much. All right, so let's move this out the way so you all can see. There's a lot of moving around, guys. It's a whole bunch of moving around. All right, that's that. And then we're just going to mix everything together. So everything comes together. I have a little bit left in my bowl. There we go. You don't want your dough to be super wet. You just want all of your dry ingredients to be moistened by the wet ingredients. So sometimes you'll notice, you all have probably seen me bake biscuits and things before. Sometimes don't add all of the wet initially because baking can be very temperamental. Like sometimes it depends on what's going on outside, if it's humidity or whatever. So I may just add all but about a tablespoon. And then if I look at it, looks a little bit dry, I'll go to add the rest. All right, so that was 2 eggs and 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk. I'm gonna get rid of this glove and get another one because I want to show you all what I use. So I use a piece of parchment paper to roll everything out on. It makes it a little bit easy because I do a folding method and I'm able to fold the parchment paper. So let's grab a piece of parchment, lay it out, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of flour on my surface. Not too much. If you put too much, it'll make your scones really dense, and you don't want that. You just need enough to keep it from sticking while you're working with it. All right, so let's take our scone dough, and we are going to dump it right on top of that flour, and then I'll put a little bit of extra flour right on top so I can work it, okay? So let's dump this out. There we go. I know these are going to be so good. All right, there we go. So here is our dough. So that good cheese. Let's do a little bit of flour on top. And then we're going to do the same folding method that I do when I make biscuits. That creates nice layers in your finished product. And you'll see what I mean when they bake. All right, so you're just going to fold from one corner to the center. You're going to do that one more time. You're going to put a little bit of flour in between each layer. Just a little bit, what's already on your board. And then we're just going to fold. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how I usually cut my scones, and then I'll show you with a biscuit cutter too. So scones are generally a triangular shape. So some people will form a circle, like a 9-inch circle, like you were doing a cake, and then cut it into wedges. What I do is just kind of pat it out, and I'll show you, to a nice long log. And then I scrunch it in, pat it out a little bit more. I don't want it to be too wide. They're going to spread and rise anyway. So this is how I do it. Try to make it as even as possible. Make sure you square off those edges, those ends.
Excuse me. Sorry about that, family.
See. A little bit more. And this is what it looks like. So hopefully everybody can see. Is that a good angle so they can see? All right. So let me grab my knife. Is right over here. I had 2 knives, and I think I put the other one away. Oh, here it is right here. All right, so what I usually do, you want to make triangles. So the easiest way to do it is just take your knife. You're going to go from this corner to the bottom. All right, so right here from the corner.
I don't think Instagram.
They can't.
Oh, yeah, they can see it.
Okay. From there to the bottom. All right. And then from the bottom, that little corner, you're just going to go straight up. Okay.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Wipe my knife in that flour. Then again, from the corner, just do an angle. Very simple. To the bottom.
Nice.
Then from that corner at the bottom, straight up and down. And you see how we're getting our wedges? And you don't have to worry about making a circle, making sure the circle is perfect, or stretching yourself out. So we're going to do a couple more, then we'll do a couple of rounds. So from the corner to the top, to the bottom. And then from that bottom point, we're just going to go straight up. And you can see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wedges. And we would be able to get a couple more, probably about 3 more. But I'm going to show you if you wanted to do them round, you could also use a biscuit cutter. All right, so let me go ahead and lift these up. And you all can see, I'm going to show everybody. Look at that. Is that a good angle on that camera?
Yeah, it is.
You all can see what these biscuits, actually, the scones, cheddar scones, are going to look like. You see all those layers that are in there and all that good cheese, okay? So I'm going to put them right on my baking sheet, and I'll bring it over for you to see. If you got to cut again, just go ahead and cut. It's very gentle. These look amazing. All right, so let's lay them right on our baking sheet. Let's get our scones. All right, so get these last 2 scones off of this paper, and then I'll cut a couple of rounds. All right. Ooh, these look good already. Okay, so if you want to cut them like we do our biscuits in rounds, I have a round cutter, a biscuit cutter. And you just want to dip your biscuit cutter in the flour and just cut rounds, just like we do when we make biscuits. All right, so just straight down, and you'll get a nice scone. So if you were having people over for tea and you wanted to make round scones, if you wanted to make some mini scones, you can use a smaller cutter, and then you can do your smaller round scones, okay? So let's go ahead and press straight down. The only thing with this method is just like when you're making biscuits, you are going to have to push the dough back together at the end, so you may have a couple that don't look as nice and uniform as the others. So just push it back together. If you need to fold it one more time just to make sure everything is together, you can do that. But just don't overwork your dough. That's the biggest thing about making any type of quick bread. You do not want to overmix, overwork. It just makes everything tough. All right, so this last little piece, we'll just ball them up and add it right to the tray. However it comes out, it's however it comes out. All right, so let me just clean this up, and then we're going to do one more thing. I'm going to show you one more thing, and we'll be good to go.
Put that in the middle.
Yeah, I am. I got to show them something. All right, so I love the parchment paper. It's easy clean up. Let me just put this to the side. Now, here are our scones. Now, what I like to do before I bake the scones, I like to brush the tops with a little bit of heavy cream or milk. That'll give the top not really a glossy look, but they won't be so dry looking because of the flour and everything on top. If you bake them like this, they'll still be good, but they'll be a little drier looking. This just gives it a little bit of a gloss and a little bit of extra crispiness to the top. So I just have my pastry brush right here, and I'm just going to brush the tops with a generous amount of heavy cream or milk, like I said. If you want to use an egg wash, you can do that, which is just egg and water. Butter, you could, but butter gets a little brown. It may burn on top as they're baking because you do bake these on 375 or 400, which is a pretty high temperature.
Guys, once again, thanks for joining us. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We weren't able to read your comments, unfortunately, and it's going to be that way for a couple of weeks. We're still putting our system together. Have to make a couple more investments. Mm-hmm. But pretty soon, the production is going to get even better than this.
So just finish brushing these with that heavy cream. Or like I said, milk if you do not have heavy cream. And we're going to pop these in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. Now, I do have some that I already made yesterday, but I want you to hopefully can still see what these look like when they come out of the oven. So, well, they'll be the same. Just like the ones from yesterday. All right, so that's good. Looks very good. And let's pop these in that oven for about 12 minutes. And we'll see how they come out, all right? All right, so let's put these in. Our casserole is looking good. All right. So let's see. All right, there we go. So let me bring over what I made yesterday so that they can we see what it looks like yesterday.
Can you put that casserole in the oven so I can get?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A little warm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's gonna be cold looking.
Mm-hmm. We scoop this one over.
We should have thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
I should have thought about that a long time ago.
It's okay. Let me push this one over. We're going to heat this one up a little bit. Get the cheese a little melty. There we go. There we go. Okay. Whew. It's a lot that goes into this, guys. All right, so let me wipe this down a little bit, and then I'll show you the scones I made yesterday. And then we'll pull the other casserole out of the oven. The other one's getting there. It's baking. It's getting there. But it takes, I mean, you need a good, hour probably to get that done. Solid hour. All right, let's throw this away and bring the scones over. All right, there we go. So.
It's only 10:47.
Oh, yeah, we have time. So let me at least bring the scones over from yesterday. I did make them. And then we'll still show the ones when they come out of the oven. But you can see how nice and golden brown. So let me pick one. Just show y'all how divine they look. Alright, so these are the ones I made yesterday. And you can see all of those beautiful layers I was telling you about when you do that folding method that I showed you. Now I did some that were this shape, but then I also did some round ones. So here's one of the round ones. Looks like a biscuit. Now, like I was saying before, you could make these. I have mini biscuit cutters. So like if you were having people over for brunch, you can use a mini biscuit cutter and you can make some little ham sandwiches, some little bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. You can serve them just like this. You can make a cream cheese spread that has chives in it or some extra herbs and let people spread it on. You can really just have a good little time with them. And it's something different. Now, if you don't want to do the savory scone, you can always add some blueberries or strawberries or some apples or peaches, whatever you like, a little bit of cinnamon, and then you have more of a sweet scone. I've also done like lemon raspberry, lemon blueberry, and then make a quick little drizzle for the top, which is just powdered sugar and a little bit of milk or water. If you want to do some lemon juice for the lemon blueberry, do that and drizzle your icing right on the top. So there are a lot of different ways you can kind of make these scones your own. I wanted more of a savory one, but sweet ones work perfectly. And we make those also. So these are the scones. I'm going to put one on our plate, and then we're going to pull the other casserole from yesterday that I made out of the oven. And then hopefully by then, the scones I just put in will be just about ready. Okay. So, we got a plate here. Let's add one of our scones. One is good, right? I'll put the other one to the side. And then if you wanted to dress your plate up a little bit, let me show you something. Give me 1 second. Because I think the plate needs a little bit more color, and that's something me and Greg were talking about. So we're going to do a little orange. And I'm going to show you something. Let me just rinse my knife off. And we're going to do an orange. Or you can do other fruits too. I just happen to have oranges. All right, let's make sure our knife is nice and clean. You rinse off my orange. All right, so if you wanted to do some type of little decorative fruit for your plate, For the orange, you can just do some zigzags. So you're going to use your knife. Be careful. You just want to cut around your orange. And you're just cutting little zigzags the whole way around. I think you can do the same thing with kiwi too. Or grapefruit, of course. Let me show you. Yep, we're at the end. Get back to the beginning where you started. So you just cut zigzags all the way around the orange. All right? So once you do that, if you cut far enough in, you'll have a nice little decorative orange piece. And what I do, sometimes I'll put like a little toothpick and put some like blackberries or grape or raspberry or strawberry right in the center. And then that's just a way to kind of decorate your plate a little bit. Or if you have a buffet that people are going to eat from, you can just decorate it like that. So you put a little orange right there on the side. And like I said, some fresh berries would go well with that too. And let's pull the other casserole out of the oven.
It's leaving the center.
I just want to wipe the table down. The other casserole out of the oven, and then we'll cut a slice of that. All right, so we got that. Let's bring our plate back over. And then let me pull the other casserole out of the oven. All right, let's see here. It should heat up a little bit by now. A little bit. It's still kind of cold, but it'll be okay. All right. So there's that. This is the casserole I made yesterday. It's still a little bit cold. We're going to go with it. And then I have a spatula. So you just want to cut a nice slice out. Now remember, like I said, you can probably get about 6 to 8 corners, squares out of this casserole. So let's just cut. This is cold, remember. I should have put it in earlier, but we didn't think about it till it was kind of late. But you do, now when you do make it, you do want to let it sit for about 5 minutes before you cut it. So it's like lasagna. So you know when you make lasagna, if you cut it right away, everything just kind of falls apart. It won't be as bad as lasagna, but it won't be as sturdy as you want it to be. You know, lasagna has all that extra cheese in the middle, but just let it sit for a couple minutes, about 5 minutes. All right, so get up, and you know the first slice is always difficult. There we go. So you see how your casserole looks. I can't even see it. I know it's cold, but there's your casserole. Okay, so you just want to put it on your plate. Right this way so they can see. Just like this. Like I said, if you wanted to do some strawberries or some other little fruits, you can definitely do that. If you wanted to dress your plate up with, you know, some parsley or, you know, something a little green, you can definitely do that. We struggled today with what plate to put it on to make it pop a little bit, but we don't go ahead. So that's that. This is our breakfast casserole, our cheddar cheese scones. And you can see all those layers. You got the nice base of potatoes on the bottom. You got that beautiful turkey sausage, the shredded cheddar cheese, and then you got that egg that just baked into your casserole. Can they see over there? It's good?
You need to go back a little bit.
Okay. There you go. And that's it. And I'm going to check and see how these look in the oven. I know they're not ready yet, but we can still check and see how they look so far.
Might be almost ready, right?
It may be. Let me check it and see. Let me see if this casserole is ready yet. It takes a little bit of time for the eggs to set, and that's what you really have to make sure, because if not, it'll just fall.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it's not ready.
It's not ready, but let me show you what it looks like so far, because it is getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Let me go this way. So this is what the casserole looks like so far that we just put in the oven.
Yummy.
And you can see it has a little bit of jiggle to it still, and that's what we wanted to set a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And you can see how that cheese melted on top. And that's what I was saying about you may or may not want to add extra cheese to the top. It's totally up to you. Some people just, you know, leave it just like that. All right, so scones still got a ways to go. They got a ways to go. So that's basically it. I can do a recap.
Let's do a recap.
Want to do a recap?
Yeah.
All right, so we made a breakfast casserole and cheddar cheese scones today. So for the breakfast casserole, I started with russet potatoes that I sliced and put them into the bottom of a baking dish, this baking dish right here, with a little bit of oil in the bottom and salt and pepper on top of the potatoes. Let them bake for about 30 minutes on 350, 375, depending on your oven. Once they're soft enough, while they're cooking, you want to cook some sausage. I made my own turkey sausage. So I used ground turkey. I used my spices for my sausage. And I cooked my ground turkey sausage with I cooked my ground turkey sausage with peppers and onions. And when the sausage was cooked, we added that on top of the potatoes. We on a layer of shredded cheddar cheese and then made a custard with eggs and milk and a little bit of salt and pepper. Pour that right over top of the cheese and bake that for another 25 to 30 minutes. For the scones, we use our recipe for the scones, which is flour, baking powder, sugar, salt. We added in some cheese, shredded cheddar cheese. We added in a stick of cold unsalted butter. You mix your 2 eggs with your buttermilk, add that to the mixture, and then and they come out looking like this. I did a quick little orange for decoration. You can add some extra fruit if you like. If you were having people over for brunch, I would add a side salad to it because that kind of mixes breakfast and lunch together with a nice vinaigrette, and that is a perfect brunch meal. So that's basically it. Sorry about all the moving around. You all make this recipe. It's so simple. For this size pan, which is about 9 by 9, I use 8 eggs and 3/4 of a cup of milk to my mixture. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, guys. If you wanted to do a little bit more, you can do 12 eggs and a little bit over a cup of milk. All right, for your casserole. And that is basically it.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we're here every Saturday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We start our live at 10 o'clock. We try our best at least. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us on Saturdays and on Tuesdays. We're here 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, guys? Every Saturday, 10 a.m. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m. And I'll try my best to put a flyer up, a menu flyer, to let you know every week what we're having. I'm going to try my best to get that Tuesday guy up. I know some of the platforms I weren't able to get the menu flyers up, but I'm going to try going forward. Okay, guys? Oh, I'm going to do it going forward. Never try. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hopefully you all make this recipe. If you do, let me know how you like it. Let me know how it turns out. And we will see you next Tuesday.
We're going to reopen Cooking with Lynette too, okay? That's a Facebook group that you all can join. When you make the dish or dishes, you can post your video, you can post your pictures on that Facebook group, Cooking with Chef Lynette. I'm going to reopen it. All right, guys. We would like for you all to join us next week or Tuesday, okay? And I think we're done.
Yep, so Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you back here. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We love you.
Happy Saturday.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.